Cycling has always been a heartbreaking sport. Right now, we're watching that heartbreak live as the hopes of one man slip away with every passing second. But to feel the pain he feels, we first need to go back in time. It's 2007 in the northwestern region of Italy, and a young Luxembourgian is announcing his arrival on the world stage. On this climb, a 21-year-old Andy Schleck is beginning his ascent in the pro cycling world. At the end of today, he'll pull on the Giro's best young rider jersey, which he will not relinquish for the rest of the race. More importantly, in his first attempt at the Grand Tour, our young phenom will stand on the final podium in Milan, finishing second overall. As is tradition, whenever a rider achieves a podium in Grand Tour, the first question is, when are they racing the Tour de France? It's 2008, and Andy has pulled on the final best young rider jersey for the first time in the Tour de France, solidifying his spot as the next big overall contender, all while trying to secretly work with his older brother Frank to win the Tour against their teammate Carlos Sastre, but that's a story for another episode. Right now it's summer, 2009. Andy, for the very first time, is on the final podium in Paris, standing in second place overall. After weeks of Frank and he working to take down eventual winner Alberto Contador, nothing stuck. Impressive attacks on the mountain, a trademark Schleck maneuver, did nothing. And we all noticed something. Andy Schleck cannot time trial. The 2010 Tour de France will be a great chance for young Andy to win it all. Yes, there's a long time trial before the final stage, but there are enough high mountain stages for Andy to pick up time, and he sure did. Heading into the 15th stage, he's in overall lead, resplendent yellow jersey, like it was made for him, and here, he's controlling the race. He knows he needs to gain time here in the mountains before the long time trial. With 24 kilometers to go, he pushes a bit, starting to shed the dead weight at the back of the group. The camera cuts away to look at those left in the wake, and for 18 seconds, we're treated to a bunch of asses and no view of the overall leader. Finally, mercifully, the camera cuts to helicopter view, and Andy is flying. He's attacked for real this time, throwing down the metaphorical gauntlet. For right now, in this moment, there's no one who can touch him. The only person close is Alexander Vinokourov. Andy keeps going. Vino keeps chasing, and he's closing. Just there, in the far left of the frame, Alberto Contador sees the danger. A look at Andy's face here tells you one thing, and that is that he's still in control. He goes to shift his gears to move to the smaller front chainring, to shift a gear that'll go to higher cadence, and then disaster.
Who's reacting? Now he has. It was Vinokourov.
Well, Vinokourov came
what's
straight...
happened? His chain's off. Schleck's chain's off.
Yeah,
well,
this is
his chain is jammed and Contador's gone. Well, this is terrible. Well, for Schleck, look at this.
Well, this is the big panic now. He's got to get himself back into this race, and this is so unfortunate. This is why you have a big problem when you don't have any teammates alongside you. He's probably lost around about 20 seconds here.
At this moment in time, he could be losing his yellow jersey. What an incredible event this is.
There's two schools of thought here. The first is that this is first and foremost a race, and that you're here to win, and that's all Contador did here. Little harm, no foul. The other, more correct school of thought, is that Contador broke one of the unwritten rules of the Tour, of not attacking yellow jersey when they have an issue or a crash, and he's a goddamn no good son of a bitch. Meanwhile, some French national champion wins the stage, and at the end of the day, Andy has slipped into second place, 8 seconds behind Contador. Here's what happened at the post-race interviews.
Destacado ha sido antes de que él tuviera ninguna avería, ¿no? Siempre tenemos una relación muy buena y siempre hemos tenido una deportividad grandísima, ¿no? Incluso en otras situaciones como por ejemplo la de Spa, que bueno, ahora queda muy lejana, pero él tuvo una caída grandísima y esperamos constantemente, y cuando yo he atacado hoy yo no sabía que él tenía ningún tipo de avería, ¿no? Entonces por eso no le di más vueltas.
I am pretty angry inside, yes, but I mean, you know, like I said, they waited for me in Spa, so that was really fair, and chapeau for that. Today, you know, guys aren't panic, you know, they take every opportunity to take seconds on me, but you know, I can handle that like a champion, and whatever, the race is not finished, and I will take my revenge the next days.
All eyes are on stage 17, the mountaintop finish on the historic Col de Tourmalet, where so many have made their name, where so many stories have been written. This is the last mountain stage, and the last chance to gain time before a 52-kilometer time trial. We watch and we wait for the leaders at the bottom of the Tourmalet, like watching a film prepare to enter its bombastic final act. And with 10 kilometers to go, the tempo increases. The whole peloton, who've been waiting with bated breath for this moment, are all looking at each other. And Andy attacks, with Contador following immediately, and that's all Contador has to do. Hold on. For the rest of this race, as their rivals genuinely fly through the clouds, they're locked in this position. Andy can't crack Alberto, who in turn can't crack Andy. He'll walk away with a stage win, but we all know that it was it for his overall chances. Contador extended his lead in time trial, and for the second year in a row, in Paris, Andy takes second. But we're here, it's now, it's 2011. Andy's in a brand new team, Team Leopard Trek, one created around him. The route is full of high mountain stages, far more than a year before. Sure, there's another time trial on the Pentalumit Day, but this year's edition is hillier and more mountainous, which should help, and after what happened in 2010, there's no way Andy wasn't in wind tunnels on the time trial bike, grinding away to help shrink that one hole in his armor. As the 2011 tour gets underway, there's a host of favorites to win this year. Andy's in the top echelon of contenders, along with Alberto Contador and Australian Cadel Evans. At 34 years of age, Evans has also been second in the Tour de France twice, in 2007 and 2008, when Andy debuted. He's also a former world champion, and could become only the third non-European to win the Tour. The Tour started off fine for Andy. He's sitting in 6th overall after the first mountain stage, just 12 seconds outside of first place. A fine place to be so early in the Tour. Then stage 9 came around, and chaos unfurled as it does in the Tour.
A quick look
In
here.
fact, there's been a crash here. Oh, goodness me, that hit the side of the car. And that was the French television car going by him there.
By the end of the stage, French national hero Thomas Voeckler would pull on the yellow jersey, a minute 49 ahead of second place, and 2 minutes and 30 seconds ahead of the favorites. Stage 12 sent the race up the summit of Les Ardennes, and what could blow the race open if the contenders want to. 6 kilometers to go, all the contenders are still together, and dancing in the yellow jersey is Voeckler, riding like he was born to be here. Closer to the top now, and from the middle of the group, Andy attacks, his rival Contador following immediately. It doesn't really look like Andy's going all out, he's just trying to see where everyone is strength-wise. And the bonus is he sets up the old 1-2, sitting down and Frank accelerates away, the brothers working in tandem. Frank opens a few bike legs of the gap, but is back together by 4 kilometers to go. The Italian veteran Ivan Basso goes for a slight move, and then Frank goes again, so fast he almost rides into the back of a motorbike. Voeckler shed it off the back, but in the night he's still going to be in the lead. At the finish, Frank takes third, and a few seconds behind are Basso, Evans, and Andy, but Contador isn't there. See, early in the season, Contador raced and won the Giro d'Italia, and it might have given him another win on his record, but it's not helping him here as the fatigue starts to kick in. At the end of the stage, Voeckler remains in first overall, and just a few seconds separate Evans, Frank, and Andy, unofficially making this a 3-horse race. We're going to skip ahead to stage 14. This is another summit finish, this time a Plateau de Belle, and the favorites are all in an equal playing field on the stage, going mano a mano, but no one can break the race open. But no time is opened up until Andy goes with less than a kilometer left. He'll get a handful of seconds, but it's really a mental attack, a brag, a look at how fast I am, I'm better than you. But then 2 days later, stage 16, an incredibly rainy descent into a gap to finish the stage, and former mountain biker Evans opens up a huge gap, finishing the stage over a minute ahead of Andy, and now the GC battle seemingly is just between Cadel Evans and Frank Schleck. Then there's stage 18, the Queen stage. 3 climbs that can't even be categorized, 5,268 meters of climbing. Everyone's expecting fireworks in the final climb. With 60 kilometers to go, the breakaway is 4 minutes ahead of peloton, and right now, we're about to witness something incredible, something that hasn't been seen in a Grand Tour in years. Andy Schleck attacks.
Andy Schleck has lifted the ante, so he's used his last match to O'Grady. There's a reaction only from Keramai, I think it is, who has started for Europe Car. Now, can Tommy Voeckler answer this one? They're going to have to do something. He's got very early.
Tommy Voeckler, what about Alberto Contador, and what about Cadel Evans? They've got to respond to this. This is the steepest part of the climb.
This is brave, very, very brave. Racing with panache, as they say. No one follows, and Andy begins to make his way through the remnants of the breakaway. Even the commentators, though, they're unsure about this move. But listening commentators never won anyone a Grand Tour. At the final climb, the Galibier, and Cadel Evans is chasing for all he's worth, trying to limit the losses to Andy and this incredible move. The imagery on display here. 2 men, suffering through the Alps, a gorgeous backdrop. This is what the Tour de France was made for. There's just 2 kilometers to go, and Andy Schleck is in more pain than we've seen the entire race. Contador, meanwhile, is dropped for the chase group, solidifying his demise in the overall standings. Andy continues to ascend, his legs screaming in pain. He's trying to claim the yellow jersey. But following Cadel Evans is Thomas Voeckler, who is still there, and slowly, that time gap between Andy and Cadel begins to come down. Andy is pedaling so painfully slow, and people all over the world are screaming, yelling, as after a 6-hour day of racing, Andy conquers the world, yells out at the top as he wins the stage, but against all odds, Thomas Voeckler will end the day still in the lead and in a yellow jersey. Realistically though, it might not matter. Tomorrow's another mountain stage, finishing up the historic Alpe d'Huez. Andy's 53 seconds ahead of Frank and 57 seconds ahead of Evans. He'll have to have the best possible recovery tonight to gain a few more seconds tomorrow, because the day after Alpe d'Huez is the time trial. As they finish stage 19 up the Alpe, Cadel, Andy, and Frank all finish together. But Voeckler finally cracks and loses 3 minutes, which means, for the first time all year, Andy Schleck holds on the yellow jersey. It's said that wearing the yellow jersey unlocks another level of ability, and Voeckler proved that. And maybe, just maybe, that match will come into play tomorrow. As we wait for Andy to start, he knows the lay of the land. All Andy has to do is match Evans' pace. He doesn't need to go faster, he doesn't need to win the stage, he just needs to match it. Okay, Andy, let's do it.
He's been dogged by injury and illness, but this time everything has gone right. His season has been perfect. He came out very early on and won Tirreno Adriatico. Then he came back and won the Tour of Romandy. He was second in the Criterium de Dauphiné. Every rendezvous he's presented himself for.
It's zero.
Incorrect.
They are equal on time. Cadel Evans and Andy Schleck.
Well, they're turning it over now. They're giving it to the 1 second advantage to Cadel Evans over.
Everything this year was set up so perfectly for him, and he just couldn't overcome his biggest, most glaring weakness. And so, in Paris, once again, Andy Schleck stands in second place.
Laut selber habe ich gelöst. Also, ich weiß ganz genau, wenn ich nicht so an die Tour gehe, dann ich gewandert, dann ich kein Zweite. Und ich eine Tour verloren.
And as happens so often in this cruel, cruel sport, the fates would never be kind to him again. In 2012, he crashed during a time trial stage of the Criterium du Dauphiné. He'd missed the Tour completely that year. In 2013, he managed to race the Tour again, but as a shadow of his former self, only managing 20th overall. In 2014, he came back, tried the Tour again, but abandoned due to injuries on a crash on stage 3. Remember when I said cycling was a heartbreaking sport?
What I'm going to do with my knee, what I'm going to do with the rest of my life and of my cycling career. So I was not good at the time mentally, because I had to take a decision that cycling is finished for me now, at least on the professional side. So I will end my career.
He would never win a Tour de France. Well, technically that's actually not true. Look, so way back in September 2010, it was announced that Alberto Contador had a trace amount of the banned substance clenbuterol in a urine sample he gave during a rest day of that year's Tour de France. In February 2012, the Court of Arbitration for Sport ruled that Contador was guilty of accidentally ingesting the prohibited substance, and was stripped of his 2010 Tour de France title, and all results through February 2012. So, in May of 2012, at a ceremony in Luxembourg, Andy was given the yellow jersey, and the record books show that Andy Schleck technically won a Tour de France. Cycling. What a sport, huh?